I made a concept map of what we are going to do this semester. And so the idea is I'm focusing on images. And images is anything you can see, right? It's not just pictures. So it can be a video, it can be paintings, drawings, whatever, right? It's everything you can see. And the first part of the semester, hi there. The first part of the semester, we'll focus on how images are not used properly, right? So misuse of images. And the reason I want to focus on this aspect, it's again to emphasize the need for critical thinking. This is something we did also in the first semester, and I'm trying to do it to, how can I say this? Reinforce what we did in the first semester with new content, right? So critical thinking, and the critical thinking is going to be towards TV news. We'll talk also about propaganda, religion, and stereotyping. Those are the four aspects we'll study for critical thinking. And then this part is the action part, right? So that's the second project that you'll be doing. So taking action for this and creating a project that will help people break stereotypes that they may have about just about anything, really. I'll show you examples from the past because seriously, you'll see it's almost, you can go for everything, right? I even had stereotypes about Paris last year. So you can choose a city, you can choose, racial stuff, whatever it is that talks to you. So the misuse and then a questioning with images, who make these images, it's journalists, right? Either they're taking the pictures or they're writing the article about that picture or video or piece of art. And so we'll start with something that happened recently, the Nepal earthquake. I came across an article that really, how can I say this? Surprised me in a negative way. So I want to share that with you to see what it is that you see or understand for yourself, right? So that's how we're going to start. And then we'll talk more specifically about one journalist. His name is Kevin Carter. And he's a South African, he was a South African photographer. And he's famous for a picture that I'm pretty sure everybody saw. Usually I have no problem with that one. And just kind of working through what happened to him as a journalist who used to take pictures of really, really dramatic topics. People dying, people starving. That's, I guess, enough, right? So focusing on him, kind of trying to understand what is a journalist's responsibility towards images, right? So that's what we're going to do this semester. And now I'd like you to spend a little bit of time thinking about what you already know, right? About these topics that we're going to discuss during the semester. So, for instance, you could focus on the first part, just that might be an interesting thing. Images, right? What's an image for you? I kind of explained it in my perspective, but what about you? What's an image? That could be one thing to think about. You could also go down and focus on the two topics, so the misuse of images and journalist responsibilities towards images. Right? What is it that you think? What is it that you feel about it? Or what is it that you already know about these two topics? Or, depending on how depends on, I do sometimes start from the bottom up. So the specific issues we are going to cover, right? So critical thinking towards TV news, propaganda, religion, stereotyping. Then anything you know about the Nepal earthquake connected to images, and what do you know maybe about Kevin Carter, right? If you do know him. No need to Google. I promise I will explain who he is, right? If you don't know, that's okay. So just to get your brain to start thinking about what we're going to study or discover together this semester. So what I'll do is I'll give you time to first think. So I'll give you 8 minutes. And then the idea is to get you to move around, meet people, talk with, probably new people that you don't know. And we'll do it twice. I'll give you 5 minutes twice to go around and share what you know or think about these topics, right? So if you don't know anything, it's okay. But what do you think, right? What's your image about these topics, issues, or the theme, okay? So you have space here in your booklet to write, and then, you can write wherever you want, just to show you that I did make a little bit of space for you to write. So 8 minutes, people. Please go ahead and think about what you know or think of the topics. I just wanted to share why I like doing this, because, for instance, talking with some of you, I had some very positive input from you, right? And the idea was that, we use images to attract attention, right? Not just to give information, but actually to attract people's attention. So that was a nice thing for me to hear from you. Also, about breaking stereotype, I had a very interesting point of view. For the student to be able to break a stereotype, you need to learn the other side of the situation, right? Because you will have an idea about a specific topic, and that might be, and it's just probably one side of it. So to be able to break the stereotype, you need to get more perspectives or more opinions, right, on the subject. So that's why I want you to be able to do this, to take some time. What is it that I already know? Because you do know a lot of things and don't usually give yourself much credit for it. I did that already. So, as I was saying earlier, the importance of preconceptions, right? What you already know, what you already think, what you already feel also about a topic. And so that's the idea. Before you hear from me or from other students, just giving yourself time and space to think, right, about what we're doing. And actually, for me, it's also very important to be able to build my class around what you already know and how you feel about certain things. It's very helpful to develop my teaching to help you develop your understanding. So that's why I usually try to spend time with that at the beginning of the semester and then when we start a new topic. And actually, and this is, I know, probably something that may seem childish, because it is a children's book. It's called Fish is Fish. But I can't find a better video to explain to you why preconceptions are so important, right? What you already know, what you already think about something, how it influences you with the new information that you might get, or how you're going to get the new information, and will you hear the new information. So I'd like to show you the video so that you can hopefully understand why preconceptions are important. The reason why I wanted you to see this animation of the children's book is because, as you probably understood, right, the fish has never been outside the pond, right? He's always been in the water. So the only thing he knows, it's fish, that's all he knows, right? And so when the frog described to him what a cow looks like, what a bird looks like, what people looks like, he always imagines them as fish, with legs, with horns, with wings, but it's always a fish. And that's kind of the thing, right? If you never take time to realize what you already know, you might not be aware how it influences what you're going to learn or what you're going to experience next. And when you think just about, strictly speaking, education, you usually learn new things based on what you already know. So that's why, as I was saying earlier, I really like to know what you already know. Right? So that's why I try to spend a bit of time with that every beginning of semester and when we change topics. So be prepared to have to do the thinking, right, a couple times during the semester. So as I explained earlier, I want us to focus on discussion, like what you started doing. And one way of helping you with this is to do the flipped activities, meaning the activities on the website. You work through the worksheet, and then you can discuss it with others before then talking with me about what you understood, or if there is anything you need me to explain better or in a different way. So what I want you to do today, so that you get a good idea of what it feels like, is actually videos about being a good listener and speaker. Because again, you are going to discuss a lot in the class. And I'd like to give you advice on how can you be a good listener, how can you be a good speaker.